Hello everyone, and welcome to Tomshark Plants. And on today's episode, I'll be teaching you guys how to grow peppers. But first, we have to plant them. Alright, listen, okay? I wouldn't be out here if it wasn't for that game. Well, considering I don't want to do this, and the fact that I already have peppers pre-grown, I think we're done here. Hey everyone, now that I'm back in my studio, I'm Tomshark, and Merry Christmas. In the spirit of the holidays, and spreading love and spreading joy, I'm gonna talk with you guys about my love of the Harvest Moon games in a bit more of a detailed manner. And this game, oh, this game, did nearly nothing that I loved from the older games. Introducing Harvest Moon Skytree Village. But before we go forward, let's take a step back, shall we? So back when I was a little kid, I wasn't into video games much. I had a Wii and a DS when I was 7 or 8, but before then I had literally nothing. The only video game experience I was able to have when I was young was to see my older cousins playing games. Whenever I would visit them, I would get to see them play a plethora of games. Spyro the Dragon, Crash Bandicoot Warped, and of course, why would I be telling this story otherwise, Harvest Moon. The games that they owned were A Wonderful Life and Save the Homeland, and most of my memories of Harvest Moon come from A Wonderful Life. From my recollection, that was the only one of the games that I actually had played, or at least started. I just remember them booting up their PS2 and going into the newly found farm that you inherit in the game. Then you got to pick your dog and you got to start planting crops and... Sorry, I got lost there for a second. Then some years passed before they played those games again, and I managed to get my hands on Stardew Valley. It took everything I loved about Harvest Moon and added some dungeoneering and adventure game aspects like that were able to draw me in even further. I was so hooked it's not even funny. I swear to God, I spent literally my entire spring break feverishly playing that game. And then a couple more months passed, and I now own my first Harvest Moon game, Harvest Moon Skytree Village. And here I am, disappointed with an empty feeling in my soul. So now what I'm sure is around 2 minutes of backstory is over, let's get to the actual game. Harvest Moon Skytree Village is an interesting game. I was supposed to get it for Christmas, but it just so happened that it fell out of the box and was left in an exposed area right on the day of a big presentation I had in school. Coincidence? Yes, it actually was. However, I was very happy that I was able to have my first Harvest Moon game firmly in my possession. Now let's just cover the story first. This game is about a place called Skytree Land. Place. Thing. They just call it the Valley. This is what I get for trying to make it interesting. It's been desolate for years on end until you get lost in it for 3 days and stumble upon the Fountain of the Harvest Goddess. Coincidence? You get told what to do by some harvest sprite dude, and you basically just have to grow crap and try to get people to come back to the valley so you can make them all love you and each other so you can get more land and grow even more crap. The way you expand the land is by, as I just said, making people love and care for each other. Eventually, the more people come back and the more loving they are towards each other, the more these sky trees will grow. And they are really tall. You also have to do side quests and other stuff, blah blah, gameplay. You really just have to farm and get people to like you. Those are your goals throughout the game. The farming thing is pretty easy. Till, plant, water, maybe fertilize. However, it's not easy if you have a million crops. It will take in-game hours. And by that I mean real-life minutes. The whole getting people to like you thing is even easier. You just have to talk to them often and do stuff for them. And the best part is, you don't have to put any effort in like you do in a real friendship because these people already start with a friendly disposition towards you. Eventually, you also have to get a wife and maybe a kid, but I didn't get that far. And there's a reason for that, which I will get to later. Now, most of the things you do in this game don't really sound that fun, right? Well, you're right. But somehow, Harvest Moon makes manually running a farm fun. Like, addictively fun. It's ridiculous how fun these games are. However, those rules do not apply for this game. This game is boring. Very boring. For some reason, this one game makes everything the other games did feel so tedious and uninteresting. Let's start picking at the farming, why don't we? You know how I said that you unlock more land as you make more people love each other? Yeah, that makes farming in this game suck. you were limited to so little land at the beginning of the game. And speaking of the beginning of the game, there's a glitch where you can get some cabbage seeds from the harvest sprite, and you can just endlessly get them from him. The fact that you are limited to so little land makes it so that you can't even effectively use this glitch. Come on, Natsume, if you're gonna give me a glitch, just let me use it. When I play Harvest Moon or Stardew Valley, when I have access to the market, I will buy as many crops as I can so I can make a lot of money really early on. But this game makes it so that you can't do that without putting crops in the weirdest places. I wanted to make my farm look nice, darn it! I mean, you can terraform the land a bit once you get the shovel, but with the setup of the land, it's honestly difficult to move land around without it looking super artificial and weird. You know what else is artificial and weird? The encounters with your villagers. The way you find out if a villager is going to arrive in the valley is through your dreams. Also, what? The first time you play through this game, everything seems so random. Just imagine this. You took in a big crop of cabbages, you sell them and hit the sack, right? And then someone will arrive today. Okay, this is super random, but okay. Next night, a man in strange clothes will arrive today. Yet again, super strange and super random that I'm seeing this in my subconscious mind, but whatever floats your boat. On the next day, a woman will arrive in town today. Okay, how do you know this? And you know what makes each one of these situations all the better? The second you walk outside your house in the morning, bam, there he is. If they said in the lore that our character was psychic or something, maybe this would make a bit more sense, but nope, nothing. Maybe he caught something while stuck in that wasteland for 3 days. Was it heat stroke, radiation poisoning, maybe some drugs? That'll do it. I'm sure anything could arise in a human after spending literally 3 days in a barren, hot, desolate valley that was probably a victim of a nuclear winter. I mean, let's be honest here, folks. And speaking of folks, the people in the valley kinda suck. Sure, they have personality and they're kind of alright, but the fact that I have to marry one of these people eventually really makes me question my in-game life choices. Also, about the people again, all they're really meant for in this game is side quests, nothing more. In other Harvest Moon games, talking to people feels meaningful and your interactions with them feel interesting. But in this game, everything feels kind of generic. Are the side quests that go along with the people good? They're pretty normal, but they're pretty scarce at that too. Honestly, this really pisses me off. I just wanted a good Harvest Moon game. So in conclusion, we have a Harvest Moon game in which its farming mechanics are boring and most of its townfolk are boring too. This is basically the Antichrist of Harvest Moon. It takes everything that should make Harvest Moon fun and flips it into a boring and meaningless experience. Is it fun sometimes? Yeah, sure. It's not unplayable and it's not terribly awful, but it's just so many little things tied together that really make this game overall unenjoyable. And that was Harvest Moon Skytree Village. Honestly, this game is a disappointment to its predecessors. In the beginning, I always wondered why the stuff you do in Harvest Moon games was fun. And this game gave me a prime example of how it cannot be fun. That's why I was outside earlier. Because I felt that manual labor would be more fun than this game. And I was a little right. Thanks for tuning in, happy holidays, and I'll see you next year. Now if you'll excuse me, I have some better games to play. Hey guys, thanks for watching. If you liked the video, then give it a like. Show some love. If you really liked it and you want to see more of my content in the future, then feel free to subscribe. You can watch some of my previous videos on the left, including my Stardew Valley video, and yeah. Don't forget to follow me on Twitter. Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, and Happy Kwanzaa. And have a Happy New Year.